check it out. This listing here is a family Christmas listing. It's got a bestseller badge on it. It's only 12 months old, which means they listed it last September, and it's averaging 58 sales a month. And when we click in, we can see there are currently 20 in the cart. So that means over the last 12 months, Everbee, the tool that I'm using to grab that data, is estimating that it sold on average 58 times a month over the last 12 months, which means it has sold 696 times. Now, of course, that's not even Steven over the course of every month of the year. The majority of those sales were last November and early December. I know that from my own experience in selling matching family Christmas shirts. You will sell the majority of those during November and the first part of December. But if you have a listing that takes off one year, the following year, it's likely to start selling for you again as early as June. Hi, I'm Simply Shauna, and I have a successful six-figure Etsy shop, and this was one of the ways that I was able to really get things moving in my shop by starting in this family Christmas niche. I'm going to show you a couple of really fun stats from my shop just to get you geared up, and so that you know anything that I'm sharing in this video is from personal experience, and I really believe that you can 100% get into this niche and scale your shop in the same manner that I did mine. What we're going over today is tried and true, and it is repeatable. And if you listen to what we talk about in this video today, this can happen for you too. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these stats. This is one of my best performing listings. It's from 2 years ago. And the majority of these sales were actually from the first year that I put it out, but it continues to do well for me last year and is already selling for me this year. It has sold 2,626 times in all and has brought in a revenue of right around $77,000. My profit numbers are usually right around 25% of my revenue numbers. Currently, right now in the month of September, early September, when I'm filming this, it's already got 633 visits in the last 30 days and 28 favorites. So it is cooking up again. Here's another one. This one has 62 visits. It's got a total revenue of $9,760 and 333 sales. Another one here at 906 sales and just shy of $27,000 revenue. And this one here, a little over $10,000 revenue with 336 sales in all. These are all family group style listings, similar to the one that I showed you in the very beginning of this video with that example. Family group listings are amazing because family listings equal higher average order value. So I typically sell anywhere between 3 and 8 shirts, probably average like around 5, but I have made sales of up to 40 something shirts in my holiday family style shirts, which means my order value for that customer is much higher. Not to mention the way my pricing structure is in my shop. Every shirt the person adds to cart, I make a little bit more on the second shirt than I do on the very first shirt because shipping is cheaper on the second, third, and fourth shirt for us as we are fulfilling with our print-on-demand company. And if this happens to be your very first video, I sell on the Etsy platform and I use a print-on-demand company such as Printify. And so Printify would actually connect with your Etsy shop and they would print up all of your items. They would do all of the shipping for you. You never actually have to touch any of this merchandise. You don't have to print it up yourself. None of that. And you only print things that are actually loved by customers that they actually purchase. So they purchase first and then you print it up. You pay to print it up and ship it off to them. You don't have to pay for inventory. So it's a really super exciting way to do business. In this video today, I'm going to go over some more real examples of listings that are performing really well to get you excited, to get you hyped, to get you motivated, to dabble in this yourself. I'm also going to give you some tactical advice on niches that you can target, things that you can go do right after you finish this video and start implementing this family listing angle in your shop today. And I'll even share with you a little bit about a challenge that I'm doing with my online community, the Learn and Earn Academy. Let's dig in. Okay, so first let's talk about why family matching shirts are different, why they might be just the angle you need to start helping your shop get noticed and maybe even do some scaling. Like I just highlighted for you, families don't buy single shirts. Every sale is a multiple shirt. Every sale through that listing, if you could get that listing going, is going to have a number of shirts in it. Typically, all day long, I'll sell around 5, probably an average of 5 through those listings. So this is literally built-in momentum. So Etsy works on momentum. The more momentum you gain, the more Etsy is like, ooh, this shop is able to sell stuff. So that's triggering the Etsy algorithm to go, well, we want to put more stuff out in front of buyers, because if this shop is able to sell these items, maybe they could sell more items. And so when you have a listing that people are buying multiple shirts from because it's a group listing like this, it's built-in momentum. You get more momentum with a listing like that with fewer customers than listings that are just targeting one customer that's going to buy one shirt from the listing. This is also going to up your order value. So one listing can easily be $100+. I have many orders come through my shop. They're anywhere between $150 to $350 through these listings for just that one order. So of course, after I get to keep my profit and I have to fulfill the shirt and then the shipping and all of that, it's really nice to be able to keep maybe $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, depending on how big the order was, as my profit, rather than $7 or $8 profit off of a single shirt order. Something else that's special about family group listings is that it doesn't have to be a one-off for Christmas. This can actually be a place where you make meaningful progress in your shop over time in the overarching niche of family shirts. Think of any event that families like to do together: vacationing, celebrating birthdays, going on reunions, taking cruises, going to sporting events, going to 4th of July cookouts. The list could go on, but this is a place that you can actually make really meaningful progress in your shop over the course of the year. And that's really what I suggest with any niches that you're choosing to work on for Christmas. I hope that you're choosing niches that you want to work in mindfully and intentionally throughout the year, and aren't using Christmas to just throw spaghetti at the wall with any old niche that you want to take a stab or two at. I've had a lot better results in my shop by making it a thread in my shop, and it might look very different how I make things for a family or for a couple or for a profession. What I'm making at Christmas time looks very different than what I'm making maybe in January or maybe in April, depending on each of those specific niches, but I'm still making meaningful progress in that larger niche or that broader niche of family or couples or whichever profession. Okay, and so one more point I want to hit here for why family matching shirts are special and are different. I don't really want to use the word easy because I don't want anyone to walk away from this video thinking, oh, this is easy, so I'll just like try 3, 4, 5 of them and I should have a banger out of those couple that I try. Or feeling like you can walk away and not be creative at all and just kind of make something that looks similar to what is already out there. I don't want anyone to walk away thinking because I use the word easy, I don't want it to translate into that. So with that being said, I do find working in the family niche a little bit easier to get things to take off and to get bestsellers in that niche, because I find that the competition isn't as competitive. It's a little bit easier for me to add value to the market in the family niche, as where maybe when I'm working in my teacher niche or in one of my other niches that I'm big with, I have to bring a little more research to the table, a little more creativity. I really have to pull in a trend, and I mean, I have to do that anyways with family, but it's a little bit easier to do with the family niche because fewer people are actually doing it, probably because, you know, it's a little harder to list. A family listing is a little bit more involved. If you are looking for some resources on how to list your family listings, your group listings, I will leave some video resources down below, including one with Printify. So after this video, you could go check that one out and it'll give you step-by-step on exactly how you can list that group listing and even what brand shirts that I use and what colors that I use. I'm not going to get into all of that here in this video, but definitely check that one out next. Let's take a quick second just to compare 2 orders here. This order was 8 shirts. You could see that it came to $206.97. So one customer, but their total value as a customer was over $200 in revenue. And from that, I got to keep really close to right around $70. For the first shirt, it's right around $7. And then for each shirt that they add to their order, I'm keeping closer to $10 per shirt. Now let's take a look at this other order. It's just one shirt, and this one came to $25.09. And for this one, I got to keep right around $7 profit. So then the next question you want to ask yourself is, how many customers do you need a day if they are ordering 5, 6, 7, 8 shirts versus how many customers do you need a day if they're usually ordering just one shirt in order to make the income goals that you'd like to make with your Etsy shop? And that might put a little perspective on it for you for whether or not you want to venture into the world of group and family shirts. So right about now, I realize that I've got people that are watching right now that are going, yes, I love group shirts because you're in them also. And then I have some people out there that are on the fence and maybe a little bit scared to add group shirts to their shop because it's different and there's a little bit of a learning curve here, right? So let me just give you a little more encouragement from my personal journey. Now, when I got started on Etsy, my first really big story for you that makes me excited to share this with you is that when I was around 12 months into my Etsy journey, so we're talking like October, I got advice from a YouTuber. I was listening to YouTube content, trying to build my Etsy shop. I was following a YouTuber that had success in their shop like I wanted to have. They shared numbers and I was like, yeah, that is what I want. So I listened very keenly to any insights they shared. And they were sharing about group shirts and specifically family matching Christmas shirts. That's what got me started in adding this niche to my shop. Furthermore, they encouraged me to continue listing these types of listings all the way till Black Friday, which I do encourage you to do as well. And what happened that year is I did have a creative idea that was kind of born over the couple of months that I'm researching family Christmas shirts and I'm listening to content about this, and I wound up coming up with something that I thought was pretty creative. Well, I came up with many ideas that I thought were very creative, and most of them didn't do anything, but this particular idea took off. I listed it out on Black Friday, and I sold so many of them over the following 2 weeks that I made $6,000 profit from just that one listing. Now, at this time, I was a new shop, being a year old, and I had only been actually making any money at all for maybe the 3 months prior to that coming up. And I hadn't made anything like $6,000 profit in just a 2-week gap. This was an incredible moment in my journey because it scaled me and got so much momentum happening in my shop. Now, inevitably in January, I dropped because I'm not going to sell as much in January as I did in late November and early December that year. But where I landed was so much higher than where I had been the previous January. I was back at maybe how I had been doing in July and in September. And so then it was a steady climb up again that year, starting from a much better vantage point because of the traction that I was able to grab, and very, very much so because of that family listing that really got going. Now, fast forward 2 years after that, I actually made a little over $35,000 profit in just the month of November. And I didn't really build out any of my giftable types of items. And I'm not saying that that's a bad strategy. I think that's a great strategy. It's just not the strategy that I used. I really went heavy into Christmas items specifically. And I didn't have anything that said Merry Christmas on it. Please don't go put anything in your shop that says Merry Christmas. That's just way too broad. You don't have a specific customer in mind there. So a lot of this is family Christmas is now way less broad. You've got a targeted customer, and you can get even more targeted than that. Maybe you're targeting the family that's spending Christmas in skiing in the slopes, or perhaps you're targeting the family that really puts an importance on faith during the holidays. So you're really going from a Christian or faith-based angle for your shirts. These are all ways you could take your niche down area of family Christmas and niche them down even further. They say riches are in the niches, and it couldn't be more true when you really niche down, you're really able to target specific types of customers that feel like you made just the thing for them. And then combining that with a group type listing like Family Christmas equals scalable money for your Etsy shop. As a matter of fact, while we're on this topic, let me give you a couple of other ideas, and by no means is this an exhaustive list, but let me give you a couple of other ideas of ways that you can niche down to help yourself really stand out and add value to the market this Christmas season, this holiday season, with your family group listings. It could be a specific location that your customers are spending their Christmas in. So perhaps they're going on a cruise, or perhaps they're going skiing, and really pulling this type of element as the star into those specific designs that you're thinking might target those customers. And make sure you represent this in your SEO, your title, and your tags as well. You might be also mindful of specific groups of people, like we mentioned, Christian or faith-based families. Another direction here, as you're thinking about niching down for specific groups, might be multilingual families. Maybe you have phrases on your shirt that are Spanish. You can also think of occasions that people might be celebrating during their Christmas and highlighting that through their matching shirts as well. Like they just welcomed a baby into the family. Specifically, it could be the first baby, and your shirts could kind of be centered around that theme or concept, matching shirts for the family with that idea, or just a new baby, right? Christmas is also a time for kind of reunions and people coming together. So you could kind of be thinking about that and getting inspiration from perhaps reunion shirts, which could be an evergreen niche and could be something that you are building out your family niche for different times of the year as well. And then of course, another way to stand out is to do personalization, the personalized name with the year. With a new trend that's popular this year, you don't want to make something that looks like something that was put out last year, but lots of new trends this year. I have a whole bunch of videos on the channel showing trends that are popular, and I will leave a playlist to that down in the description. If you're looking for ideas, you could take one of those ideas and infuse it into your matching family Christmas shirts. And then of course, there's humor or personality-based t-shirts, and humor does sell really well. Think like the naughty one, the nice one, or like Dear Santa types of shirts, but with really funny phrases. And then some real magic starts to happen here when you stack these little sub niches. So maybe you're doing the family name with the year 2025 mixed with humorous phrases for different family members, and then maybe you stack it again, and these are for people who are celebrating their Christmas with a cruise. So let's talk now for just a second about being inspired by what is selling right now and what sold last Christmas. So when you start thinking about putting these listings together, I want you to sit down and do this little activity. Go and look at your bestsellers. You could put in your search bar family Christmas shirts or matching family Christmas pajamas, and you're going to filter this by star seller, and then you're going to go up to the search bar and you're going to replace the word star with best. And this is going to bring your bestsellers to the first page, which here in September when I'm putting this video out, we already are getting quite a few bestsellers on that page. Take a look at the types of mock-ups that are doing really well. So when you're putting your template of mock-ups together and you're choosing the colors and you're sitting there thinking, well, what colors should I use? What mock-up should I use? Take some inspiration from what is already doing well. Success leaves clues, and this is what people are liking right now, and is going to continue to be a hot commodity as we go into the season this year. Pay attention to what kinds of things are being personalized on these shirts. Make yourself a little list of what you see popping up over and over again. Is the family name included? Is a year included on the bestsellers? Are specific funny phrases popping up over and over again? Be mindful of this so that you can make sure you're pulling in those elements into your own listings. If the majority of listings do have a family name on the shirt, you don't want to try to cut that corner and go, oh, well, I want to try to do this without offering personalization, because you're going to wind up spending a lot of time creating listings that never sell because you were afraid to make the kinds of things people actually want to buy and spend the time personalizing items. So if you think about it for just a second, it would be way more fun to actually have to spend time personalizing things later and have money coming in and have scalable growth in your shop than to have plenty of time in December and late November to create lots of new listings because you have no orders to fulfill and you're not making any money because you really were trying to avoid personalization. So kind of keep that in mind. I know that's always like a battle, an internal battle. I had that battle with myself as well, and I get to work with a lot of sellers that also have that internal battle. Okay, so now let's take a second to talk about how to structure these listings. You will get more insight again on those videos that I built out that were more of a step-by-step of how to use your print provider to actually get these listed and how I do that. I will leave those links down below, but some highlights for you that I'm going to mention in this video. When you are putting these group listings together, they all go in one listing. Let's say you make 8 different designs with funny phrases that maybe are working off of each other for this particular family listing. This goes all in one listing. And then you get 2 drop-down menus in your listing. You can put all of your phrases, all of these funny phrases that you came up with in one of the drop-down menus. I like to put my sizes in the other drop-down menu, and then I tend to just do one color. If you do a couple of colors, I wouldn't build it out to too many, maybe cap it at 3, and you can have, 3 different colors available, but then be mindful if you are adding children's sizes, not all colors are available in those children's sizes. So then you're going to need to match it up. What does your print provider have available to you in all of those other various sizes? I usually stick with black and white for this reason, because those colors pretty much match no matter what size you're needing to fulfill. And on that topic for just a moment, I might also mention that if you use the word pajamas in your SEO, in your title, and in your tags for your listing, then you cannot have children's sizes. You can't safely list children's sizes in your listing or use any words referencing kids, like kids, toddlers, babies, or anything like that, because there are special rules surrounding selling pajamas to children. And even though you're just really selling the shirts, you would be marketing them as pajamas. And because there are special safety standards for children's pajamas, you don't want to have the word pajamas or PJs or nightwear or any of that in your SEO if you also have children's sizes available. Something else to note while we're talking about the structure of your listing, be mindful or open, I guess, to using options or, making one of your variations, mom, dad, big sister, big brother, or perhaps custom, where you let them personalize it with a name. And we've talked a bit about personalization. When you are structuring your listing and you're creating this listing, be sure to toggle personalization on. If you're doing a listing where it's their last name, so they've got to be able to communicate their last name to you. Or if in your variations you added the word custom, so they could custom, instead of mom or dad or grandma, you're letting them say, hey, I want Gigi on this shirt. Or hey, can you write Rachel on this shirt? They need a way to communicate that with you. You will have customers bounce, which means they'll leave your site, they'll leave your listing if it's not easy for them to check out. So you might think, well, why wouldn't they just message me? Because that's like an extra task that they would have to do. So you want to be mindful that you double check this so that when they go to check out, personalization is toggled. You've left some little directions there on how to send you this message, right? Like just, let us know what the last name is that you'd like on your shirt. You can look at how other people have phrased their directions for personalization to make sure that you're giving clear directions. And this way, it's seamless at checkout and they're able to communicate to you what it was that they are needing personalized on their shirt. And the last point I'll kind of just quickly make here while we're talking about how to structure your listings, be mindful of that first mock-up photo that you're using. If you're doing a Dear Santa set with like 24 different Dear Santa phrases, or you're doing a most likely to set with 24, 36 different phrases, or you're doing funny phrases that work off of each other, and so maybe you have 8, 10, 11, 12 phrases to choose from. You want to make sure you're using a mock-up photo for your very first photo that shows either a family all wearing the shirts. It needs to be one that you can clearly see the shirts, not too much of their bodies are there because it kind of needs to be zoned in so that the shirts are taking up more of the frame. Or it can be one of those flat lays where you've got 5 to 6 shirts laid out with just an item or two that's Christmassy around it perhaps, so that you can show your customer how these phrases are working off of each other. If you are doing just like Johnson Family Christmas 2025, I don't suggest using a group mock-up like that. The design itself, it's obvious, like that's for a group. The whole family is wearing that. I would mock that up on just one shirt. Okay, now if you're still here, I know you're very interested in family types of Christmas listings. So I want you to go down into the comments and I want you to say cha-ching, so I know that you're still here and that you're planning on cashing in this holiday season with these types of listings. Remember, the reason I'm making this video is because I am excited about this because I had a $35,000 month on Etsy because of this. I had my first scalable growth on Etsy because of this niche. I find this niche so exciting, and I realize that it can be a little daunting, a little intimidating for, people to get into sometimes. So the next thing I want you to consider after you've said cha-ching, if you are looking for some more guidance than just this video here on YouTube, and this video might be enough. There's a lot of helpful things that I dropped in this video, but if you're looking for a little more guidance than that, I am hosting a 6-week family Christmas listing challenge. Every week, a focused strategy on what you can list to add value to the market and the family Christmas niche. If you're watching this video the day it goes out, we just launched the challenge yesterday. So this would be perfect timing for you to join us. And we're going to keep going all the way through Black Friday. We're going to be listing for this niche all the way through Black Friday. Our challenge will take us there. You'll get a new video dropped every week with focused content on exactly how we're going to add value to the market that week, or the type of family group listing we're going to do. If you walk through all 6 of these, you're going to have a really nice representation in your shop for family Christmas niche. You're also going to have a really nice understanding of how to stand out in the market. We're also doing a dedicated live every week, in addition to our regular live, so that we could come together while working on this challenge, ask questions, get reinforcement, get motivated, and share our wins with each other. So if that's something you'd be interested in, I will leave a link to the Learn and Earn Academy down in the description. If you're already in the Learn and Earn Academy, let us know how it's going as you're working your way through the challenge. And if not, we hope to see you over there. If you found this video helpful, I'd so appreciate you taking a second to boop the like button. And if you don't want to miss future content like this, definitely subscribe. We'd love to have you as a regular around here. And I'm going to leave the next video for you. It's about ornaments. Ornaments are like another secret weapon that you can use, especially as a new seller during the holidays. And let me tell you all about it. Make sure you click on the video so YouTube doesn't take you to just another random video. If you want to hear about how awesome ornaments are and how to stand out with your ornaments, you're definitely going to want to click that link. But of course, not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.